What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 2 for 2 podcast, your sports podcast for the culture by the voices of the culture. I'm your host, Quis, and I'm back here with my co-host, Nell. And we got another really good episode for y'all, man. We're coming off a great holiday. We had a lot of good football, a lot of basketball, a lot of college sports going on. We're going to dive into it today, man. So, season 3, episode 17. Let's get it. Nell, another win for the Cowboys, another Thanksgiving win. How you feeling coming off of that one?
Yeah, man, it was good. We the highlight of everyone's Thanksgiving every year. Y'all know what it is. America's team. Blessing y'all on Thanksgiving. So, and they put on a good performance. So, I complained last week about the NFL and the kind of scheduling they do for the Thanksgiving games, but I'm glad they gave us an easy one. Mr. Pick Six, Deron Bland, setting the record for most pick sixes in a season. So it was a great performance.
Yeah, can't be mad at that one. Easy Thanksgiving win for you. They divided some households between the Cowboys and the Commanders, and the Cowboys, ruined Thanksgiving for a couple people that are Commanders fans around here. But, we'll take a win when we can get one, right? So that's not the game we really came to look at, though. Now, I'm happy for you. My Bucks lost again, everybody. If y'all didn't know, you know. But how about them Eagles, man? The Philadelphia Eagles in our game of the week against the Buffalo Bills. They pulled it out, Nell. 37-34 overtime win. We talk a lot about the Eagles, and they seem to win. We said you would think that their record isn't what it is, the way that some people, complain about the Eagles or talk about the Eagles. But are we giving the Eagles enough credit for being able to find new ways to win every single week now?
Yeah, I mean, as crazy as it is for me to say, I actually don't think we're giving them enough credit. I think we're taking away a lot of credit, by saying, against Kansas City, they had the drop pass, people calling that win luck. But at the end of the day, the Eagles are the team that's executing and making the plays in the fourth quarter to win these games. It's not their fault that the other team didn't execute and drop the pass here or, misread a coverage here. Both teams got to go out there and make plays and execute. And the Eagles this year, by far, have been the best team executing in the fourth quarter. They've trailed at halftime in the last 4 games, and somehow ended up winning all these games and against pretty good competition. Obviously, they've got a crazy stretch coming up. 49ers, we'll talk about that. Cowboys, already beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Good OT win against the Bills. They're playing against good quality teams, and they're finding ways to win. So Jalen Hurts just gives them a bunch of confidence. You can say what you want about his stats and whatever, but he's making plays at the end of the day to win these games, and there's just not much you can say. At the end of the day, they're winning, and they're making a place. They're making a place to win. Their defense, their pass defense hasn't been great this year, but that defensive line is going to find a way to get a sack in the fourth quarter, damn near every close game. They're going to find a way to make a play and put pressure on the opposing quarterback and keep them from making a big play. And then Jalen Hurts goes down and finds a way to connect with AJ Brown or Devontae Smith or a tush push, QB draw, whatever it takes. They just find a way to win. So, I mean, you can't knock them for that.
Yeah, you can't be mad at it at all. That's the thing. It's I get it. You look at it every week, man, they were supposed to lose, man, this and man. But I've said it multiple times now. The tale of a good team, the tale of a great team is that they always find a way to win. Doesn't matter if it's ugly. I always talk about the Steelers, right? They've mastered the ugly win. That's the Steelers thing. But the Eagles, they've just mastered the art of winning. It doesn't matter if it's Jalen Hurts. It doesn't matter if it's AJ Brown. It doesn't matter if it's one of those defensive guys making a play. Like in Kansas City, Kevin Byard had his best game as an Eagle, right? After not looking so great early on, somebody finds a way, and that's what it is. That's what it takes to win in this league. Like you said, they have a really tough stretch coming up. But if nothing else, the first half of the season has prepared them for this stretch. It's going to be an exciting game coming up when they play Dallas. 2 teams that look really, really good. It's going to be an exciting game this week against the Niners. We had 2 weeks ago where we're looking at them play the Chiefs, and we're saying oh, this is Super Bowl, rematch. The Eagles want this one more. And they came out and they won. A lot of Eagles fans didn't like that idea, but it is what it is with them. But now they got the Niners coming up, and you look at it and you're like, the Niners are they feel as though they were robbed of something by the Eagles. And the Eagles now have to prove that they are prepared, for that matchup. And so I think they've done a lot to really just cement themselves as probably, to me, I think they're the best team in the NFL. I feel like we can say that safely. The NFC, they got, like the Niners, Cowboys are lurking in the NFC. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. The Ravens look great in the AFC. But right now, I mean, the Eagles have done enough. Every single week, they found a way to win. Jalen Hurts, this time it was with the QB draw in overtime to seal it. And I mean, for me, Nell, do you think so far has Jalen Hurts locked up the MVP, or do you think he still has to prove a little bit more? I know the stats. You look at him, you like, but when you watch the body of work, you watch what he means to the team. Talk about most valuable player. Has Jalen Hurts blocked up the MVP this year?
I think
Also, I
so.
want to throw in. I want to throw in that I did pick him for MVP.
A good call on you.
That's probably the best thing I've done all.
Still, there's still a bit of season left to go, but I mean, honestly, I think Lamar Jackson's probably in that conversation. But I think with Jalen Hurts, and people have talked about his stats, but he's 10-1. He's on the best team in the NFL. He's a big part, if not the main reason
And he's playing
that
hurt.
team playing through injury. Uh, One of the main reasons that team is winning, and like the game against the Chiefs, I mean, he's got signature wins against the Chiefs. Big comeback win against the Bills where he's making plays with his arm and his legs. He's only 10th in yards, 12th in QB rating, 10th in touchdowns. So it's like you look at these stats, usually MVPs, are probably top 5, if not, top of most passing categories. And, he's not going to be up there in stats. Like you say, he's also playing through injury. They run the ball a lot, but, he's second in total touchdowns, right behind Josh Allen, and he's first in wins. So, I mean, if that's not valuable, I don't know what is. I like I said, you can throw Lamar in there. Dak's had a good year, but Dak doesn't have a signature win. I mean, all his great games have come against bottom feeding teams, and I just don't think anybody's going to ignore that ass whooping that we took, on a national stage to the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Like, and then you already lost to Jalen Hurts, so I think he's out the question. Brock Purdy, we've seen him like throw away games for the 49ers already this year. He's got big game, against the Eagles coming up if he wants to throw his hat in the MVP conversation. He could do that with a win here, but I just don't think there's anybody statistically that's putting the wins together that we could say this guy's the MVP for sure. I know Jalen doesn't have the stats, but I think his numbers are good enough, and leading the team to 10-1. We'll see what the rest of the season holds, but I think he has a great shot of holding on to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I said Hurts at the beginning of the year. I thought his stats would be a little bit better. I'm saying the numbers, but I like what you said about the signature wins. I think at the end of the day, like that's something that it can't be ignored. You beat who most people consider the best quarterback in the NFL, and Pat Mahomes, right?
On the road.
You beat the golden boy that everybody wants to be up there in Josh Allen in a comeback victory, right? The overtime, they changed the rules for Josh Allen, and then he still loses. He had a chance to win it. He didn't.
0-6 in overtime. Crazy.
Like, I mean, it's hard to deny it, man. It's like I said, the stats are what they are. But just the eye test, just the signature wins, like you said, they beat the Niners this week. He plays well enough. Like, it's gonna be hard to deny the man. So, hey, Jalen Hurts, Eagles fans, y'all might have an MVP, man. Keys might have been right about something this season because not too much is looking good. Well, let's go ahead and preview the Niners game now. Eagles Niners coming up this week in the NFL. Definitely the game of the week. I already said it, all the implications. We got the Niners felt like they were robbed of their Super Bowl chance. They had injuries, Brock Purdy couldn't play, et cetera, et cetera. They're probably at the healthiest that they've been all season. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts is banged up. Just came off of a tough overtime win. They out. Lane Johnson's out. I heard a lot about that this week. The defense, a little banged up in the middle. The linebackers haven't been great. Secondary hasn't been great. But like we said, they always find a way to win. Which way? I know where your heart might be leaning now. But Eagles, Niners, who you got, and tell me why.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready for this one. It's going to be a certified banger. But man, I don't know. I picked against the Eagles the last 2 weeks, and like
Yeah.
they just keep finding a way to win. And it's like I want to pick the 49ers to win this one too, because I kind of just need the Eagles to lose just once, one more time at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how I can pick against them at this point. What is that? Is that in Philly or is that in San Fran?
Let's see. I got it. That game will be in. Wait for it. My phone is not ready. I don't got it. I got it. It is in Philadelphia.
Yeah, like yeah, you might want to wrap that up.
Niners are somehow favored.
Maybe because
I agree.
Lane Johnson. I don't know.
I don't see how they go into. I just don't see, especially with it being in Philly. I don't see the Niners making that trek from coast to coast.
I can see them pulling out a win possibly.
Like the weather, the elements is all there, man.
I mean,
It's just
it's the
crisp outside.
49ers.
It's
49ers
crisp.
got 49ers. That's a really good team. I mean, like that's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
one of the few. I mean, like skill position, offensive line, defensive line, like
And they
talent
got
wise, like
McCaffrey, a guy that we could throw into that MVP conversation as well.
yeah, like they neck and neck, like talent wise. It's just we didn't get to see Brock Purdy last year.
And
Like
he'll have to deal with that
game
defensive
was
line.
over in the first quarter. Like who knows what he would have been able to do against that kind of pressure that Philly can bring. We're gonna find out Sunday, but I'm gonna take the Eagles at home. I'm not gonna go against Jalen at the crib. The bank's price, Lincoln Financial is gonna be turned up, so I'm gonna have to roll with the Eagles. I'm definitely. I don't want to root for the 49ers either. Like honestly, who cares? But 49ers, it would be nice if they got this win, but I picked against the Eagles two times too many. So like I'm good.
I
I'll
mean,
rock with them this time. Maybe they'll lose this one.
it's one of those things for you specifically as a Cowboys fan. The winner of this game is going to be looked at over y'all as the favorite in the NFC, right? The Eagles lose this one, and the Niners are riding high. Like they're like, oh, we got this locked up. You got to deal with it. Your team hasn't quite beat anybody great yet.
It's a big game for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, no, this is for this guy, his legacy on the line. I'm putting his legacy on the line for this one.
I mean his numbers have been solid this year. Yeah, I don't know if he still leads the league in passer rating or not, or QB rating. He might, but he's been solid when the rest of the team's been healthy.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen him face the true Super Bowl contender.
Right.
I mean, unless you want to count the Bengals before Burrow got hurt, and we saw what happened that game, and he was missing a couple players, but this would be the first like really big test for him to see what kind of quarterback he is, and give us a little preview of what we might see in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to it.
And aside from just that, we got matchups all across the board. Trent.
Hey, Debo called Bradbury, what, you called him trash?
Yeah, I mean, Debo talking
I hope
crazy.
I see that matchup a couple times.
You know what I'm saying? You got that D line that the Eagles got lining up in front of that offensive line of the Niners. Christian McCaffrey, a guy that can run the ball really well, catch the ball at the backfield. He's a playmaker. How does he play against that front seven? Even though the linebackers for the Eagles aren't that great, the people are praying that Shaquille Leonard gets signed by the Eagles in the next day or two. But even still, I don't know if he would be ready to play to help them out this week. On the other side of the ball, you got Fred Warner, who's one of the best linebackers in the league, and you got Jalen Hurts on the other side of quarterback. That's going to be a chess match of its own. They got Ward out there just coming off of a great game where he talked his shit. how he, strapped DK on Thanksgiving. The Niners will be without Hufanga. That's a big loss for him. Shout out to Rashad White, man, popping ACLs. But I should have said that. But anyway, but it's gonna be a chess match all around, and we got two great coaches as well, right? Shanahan, Sirianni. I don't know which way to go. Nell, I mean, you leaned into the Eagles.
Yeah, I
I'm
hope they
a.
lose, but I don't know, man.
I
They
don't really
find a way
like
to
the
win.
49ers either. Like Brock Purdy, I apologized to him on the pod a couple weeks ago, but then they beat my Bucks, and I felt like they didn't deserve it. The Eagles also beat my Bucks. I have no horse in this race. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles, man. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna go with the culture. That's what the pod is all about. I'm gonna go with the culture. Hopefully we don't uh jinx the boys, especially you. You know what you're doing. Y'all see what Nell's doing? Nell has the ultimate reverse
I hope
jinx.
it worked.
Y'all haven't noticed. Every time he picks something, it always is the other way, unless it's the pick 'em against me. But that's gonna be a good one, man. We got some really good football coming up. But let's dive back. Let's go back another week, man. The Jacksonville Jaguars held off the Houston Texans and maintained the AFC South lead. Now, how you feel about this one? Were you impressed? I personally wasn't overly impressed. I think the Texans were robbed. I think that they had an opportunity to win the game. Maybe they have a better kicker, they win that game. But like we said, we can't, give a team credit. Like can't give a team like the Eagles credit for finding ways to win, but then discredit another team for finding a way to win. But all in all, were you impressed by this win now?
Yeah, I was impressed simply because I picked the Texans to win. So I'm surprised at that outcome. But Texans still a young football team, trying to learn and, be consistent. Like you said, I mean, almost had a chance to send it to overtime if the kicker had just a little more leg in him. So I mean, it's a big win for them. They got pretty much a cupcake schedule coming up. I mean, maybe they even they got the only tough game they got left on their schedule is Baltimore. If they somehow come out with that victory, Chiefs slip up one more time, you can mess around and the AFC goes through Jacksonville. That would be crazy. I don't expect that to happen. Uh, you know, Trevor Lawrence, he's been pretty good the last couple of weeks, but we know he can be up and down, and he still got the Browns defense. Bengals defense can it can make it tough on quarterbacks sometimes. So I mean, he's playing some tough defenses, but at the end of the day, no Watson, no Burrow. So I mean, the schedule is set up for them to continue and lock up this division, but we'll see. I still think the Texans, if the Jags slip up a game or two, I think the Texans will be right there, and they'll keep them honest the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think I'm not sold on them still. I'm just not. I've been saying it. I'm just not. I think they have a chance to make some noise. It seems like the AFC is kind of unfolding in that manner where it's giving them a little gateway that we're like, we're looking originally at the beginning of the year, we're like, they're not beating the Ravens, they're not beating the Bengals, they're not beating the Chiefs. I mean, now you got no Joe Burrow. They probably won't make the playoffs now, right? The Ravens lost Mark Andrews. That's a big loss. We watched them the other night. They won. But you can tell Mark Andrews isn't on the field, right? You got the Chiefs, who are, they're winning, but do they look amazing? Is Travis Kelce in Travis Kelce form? Do they have enough weapons around? So the Jags, I mean, they're fighting their way in. And like we said, it's any given Sunday. They get to the playoffs, you can win a game. But we talking about a team, we talk about the Texans. And the Texans play another team this week now. And they have a chance to get back on the winning side of things. And that's the Denver Broncos, who have now won 5 straight games. Now, I'm not going to come on here and apologize to Sean Payton. I'm just not. I won't do it. I talked bad about him. I said he's not that good. Walt said they stuck in 2010. And I mean, but we're talking about teams finding ways to win now. The Denver Broncos are now 6-5 after starting the season 1-5. 5-game win streak. I mean, Russell Wilson, they beat the Browns and Russell Wilson threw like 130 yards, but they won by double digits. Are they I don't even want to ask, but I have to ask: Are the Broncos legitimate? Is this a team that we should monitor moving forward? Has Sean Payton figured it out,
Nah, I mean,
or is
we
this
we
just
just
crazy?
yeah,
Some
they
some
just you wondering if they gonna make the playoffs or not. I don't know if we that's pretty much it. I mean, look, give them a lot of credit. I mean, the defense has been flying around during this winning streak. I mean, this was a team early in the season that gave up 70 points in a game. So it was getting for them as embarrassing as it can get for an NFL team. Uh, especially with all the comments and Sean Payton before the season. I think him and Russ just finally kind of just figured each other out over the first 6 games. It was rough, but I think they finally figured it out. Defense, they forced 15 turnovers over the last 5 games. They've been running the ball a lot more.
Mhm.
Russ was throwing in 32 times a game, and then right before they played that tough game against Kansas City where everyone was looking at Kansas City crazy because a team that just gave up 70 held you to 19. But ever since that game they've been playing really good defensively, and Russ has only been throwing the ball 26 times a game. Like you said, he had under 200 yards against the Browns,
It was like
but
134.
but still they've been able to run the ball over 120 rushing yards a game during the streak. So, that's the formula for them. Russ hasn't turned the ball over the last 5 games, only 4 interceptions on the season. So, they keep playing like that, turnover free, running the football, defense, making plays and forcing turnovers the way they've been the last couple of games. They definitely give themselves a chance to, get a wild card spot.
Yeah, they got a chance. The AFC's wide open at that kind of after like 1 and 2. The Chargers lost again. Um, they're
Yeah,
about
stick a fork in the Chargers.
saying they're about done. I think Staley is just collecting the check right now because he about to go. So I mean the Broncos, they can sneak in there, like you said, man, any given Sunday. So I mean, shout out to the Broncos, I guess. Sean Payton, I guess is why they paid you, That's all I'm gonna say. But we got some other news on the NBA side of things now. We're about what? About 15. I'm looking at they about 15, 16 games into the season. We're getting close to tournament time for the in-season tournament. Um, but so far now, what stuck out to you? Any surprising, any disappointing starts? I mean, we got the Orlando Magic are second in the East, right? I
I
mean,
told you they was coming.
the Oklahoma City Thunder are second in the West. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
The
Minnesota
Lakers,
first in the
KD,
West.
yeah, Minnesota's first in the West. I mean, Golden State is 10th in the West. We got what else? We got Memphis 3-13. Told you. I mean, it's
Spurs lost 12 in a row.
it's some things are starting to take shape. That's what we getting at, folks. Some things are starting to take shape in the NBA now. I think we know who teams are for the most part right about now. So what's surprising? What stood out to you other than some of the things I said, or if any of the things I said? What stood out from you on the surprising side of things? Any big disappointments? Any players that you just like? What happened to you? What's going on? What you got now?
Yeah, I'm surprised in Orlando and Minnesota, and a lot of these young teams stepping up. It's still pretty early in the season, but Minnesota for sure looks like a team that's going to be contend for a top 4 spot throughout. We know what Rudy Gobert brings defensively. 3-time defensive player of the year. Was it 3 or 4? I think it's 3. Whatever, but multiple time defensive player of the year winner. But I didn't expect that he'd have them, the best defensive team, through the first month of the season. Him and Cat, I still think that fit is kind of weird, especially once you get into the playoffs. But
But
for
it
regular
helps that Ant
season,
elevates his game. When Ant elevates
yeah,
his game, it's a
and
little.
everyone saw that he was on the rise, especially after what he did in the summer with the FIBA tournament. So everyone knew he was coming in and going to put the league on notice, and he's certainly done that. He's been great this year. Orlando, another great defensive team, and Paolo Banchero just bullying guys to the rim. I mean, they're fun to watch. Like I said, they've got a lot of depth. A lot of good guards. So Orlando's been surprising. I mean, damn, Golden State has been a little disappointing for me.
Yeah.
I know They started off hot first couple of games, but then I mean, Draymond
We
got
got
to
a
go
lot of
ahead
guys,
get
man.
himself suspended. Clay is just like off to like such a terrible start. Wiggins off to a slow start, so it's like Steph really just out there by himself. Honestly, I think that's kind of where they missed Jordan Poole because he was the only other guy coming in, and it's like
If nonetheless, if nothing else, he's gonna do something.
he's going to
And I
come in
feel like he was
and get
more
a bucket.
comfortable with the Warriors. Like,
Yeah, like and Chris Paul has been a really good addition to the bench. I've loved the way he's played. Yeah, I don't think he's been a reason that they're struggling to win games. But if Clay's not going to shoot the ball well, Wiggins isn't going to shoot the ball well. We know Draymond and Kevon Looney aren't guys that are contributing, scoring wise. Like, you know, Poole was that guy that could come in and give you 20 to 30 any given night. Now with Clay struggling and Wiggins struggling shooting from the field, you really don't have another scorer that you can depend on night in and night out. So you're just hoping that Clay's hot this night, or Wiggins hot this night, or Draymond isn't choking people out this night. So there's a lot going on in Golden State. Clay's got to figure it out if they want to have a chance.
Clay has to get out of that mindset that he's solidified as like, I can just not play well and y'all gonna still respect me. And I think that's a lot of Clay's problem is being in Steph's shadow for so long, but also being like, the Splash Brothers. That was a thing. Clay earned his keep as a two-way guy, shoot the tray ball, guard the other team's best player, second best shooter in the NBA. Sure, a couple injuries, whatever, but he hasn't regained that form since he came back. Now that was starting last year. Now we got this year where he's back and he's still like, it just don't look right. It don't look good. I don't know if it's maybe Draymond. I don't know if it's missing something. I don't know if he's just not it no more. But he's one of those guys that he has to play better. Like Steph Curry is willing them to 500 right now by himself. And
Yeah, I think Clay's shooting like 34,
yeah,
35% from three this year.
it's
It's
just
like
bad.
he's a career 40% 3-point shooter. So it's like,
And he's a guy
see
that's like,
him struggling like this is rough.
he's not a volume shooter, but he shoots with a lot of volume, if that makes sense. So he shoots a lot. It's not he's shooting a lot to get high. He just shoots a lot. Because he has performed at that level for so long. But if you like you said, if he's shooting at that percentage at the same volume, they look really bad. You're taking away shots from Steph Curry, a guy who is shooting at the right, shooting at about his percentage. It's forcing more on Steph. I was looking at Steph's stats the other day, and like he's averaging like less than 4 assists a game. I'm like, this man has to run the two for this team basically to even be partially successful. And that's with having a guy like Chris Paul on the team stepping into that assist role as well, like Draymond. But that shouldn't make a guy like Steph Curry go from where he averaging almost 30-6 to where he's averaging 30-3 because nobody's making shots. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a little disappointing and a big surprise. I think for me, I'm right with you with the Magic. Biggest surprise for me, you didn't talk about my boy Franz Wagner. I'm gonna talk about the Michigan guys every
Hooper.
time I can. What'd you say?
I said he's a hooper.
Oh, okay. I thought so. Yeah. Franz is hooping. And they got young guys over there that play hard, and they play together. The NBA is not a league where it's like every night, every team is playing hard. I mean, even the Knicks, 2 years ago, was it 2 years? 3 years ago, when we lost to the Hawks in the playoffs, like the Knicks won a bunch of games that year because they just play hard every night. That's what the Magic are doing. That's what the Kings did last year. That's what the Timberwolves are doing. You can steal easy victories over very good teams, especially early on, because you have a group of young guys that's going to play every night. Franz is going to play. Jalen Suggs is going to play. Wendell Carter's going to play. Paolo's going to play every single night. Cole Anthony. Your boy Fultz is there too, right? Ain't Fultz out there playing the
Yes,
one?
sir.
Like, they just got a bunch of guys that can play and they play hard and they try. Like the Magic are trying to win every game. And that's what you see. The Timberwolves are trying to win every game. The good thing about the Timberwolves, I don't like Rudy Gobert a lot. I don't like the fit with Cat either, just like you. But what they've done is they found a way to get those two and Anthony Edwards to say, I'm going to play hard every single night that I'm on the floor. And if I do that, I have a very high chance to win. You see, like your Sixers played the Lakers last night, blew them out the water. Granted, like y'all are a better team to me than the Lakers, but you see one team that doesn't play hard every night, they lose games, and another team that does play hard, their stars try, their coaches actually coach, and they win a lot of games. And that's something that surprised me on the grand scheme of the whole league is like, we put in the in-season tournament for you guys to still try. You got guys like DeMar DeRozan saying, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But then you see the Bulls lose. You know, they got Zach LaVine, they got DeMar DeRozan, two guys that are studs, but they don't care. They rather go score 25 and then blame the team for losing. Then I'm gonna just play hard this whole game. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to win this game, or I'm gonna die trying. I mean, we see guys, we crucify guys that shoot the ball, like guys like Embiid. Like he takes plays off, but Embiid, when he's on the floor offensively, or if he's just locked in, a locked in Embiid can get 45, 50 every night. Tyrese Maxey, I'm giving the Sixers a lot of love today now.
I love it.
Tyrese Maxey tries every single night, and he's trying to win. He's not just trying to score. That's something that's a little disappointing to me with a lot of these like stars and like these good teams that we know. Like these guys are just trying to score points, and that leads me to something that was disappointing. Jordan Poole. We just talked about him with the Warriors. Like I'm really disappointed in Jordan Poole. You know, he got to a situation where you can take over as the guy for your team. You can be the guy, as opposed to what he was doing in Golden State, where he was just like, he was a bucket, but it wasn't no pressure. And I get, you know, there's different pressure, but you play for Washington. There's no pressure to win, but you can play way better than you're playing. You can shoot the ball at a better clip. You can be more efficient. I shouldn't like, yeah, he's a hot and cold guy in terms of like he's a microwave on the floor, but you know, you're not in year two no more, Jordan Poole. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to be like, all right, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to take good shots. I'm going to get my teammates involved. But right now, like he looked like the Wizards got robbed. Fortunately, the Warriors don't look much better, but he kind of robbed them in that regard. And another team that we want to talk about, man, the Los Angeles Clippers. What do you how you feeling about them? You know, we talked about the James Harden trade. It's gonna take some time. Sure. They moved Russ to the bench. Cool. They played pretty well. They had a couple games where they looked okay. They had a game where James Harden let everybody down and they played like trash and they lost again. So what are your thoughts on the overall Clippers struggle now?
Yes, it's crazy because for the last like 2 3 years, everybody's been talking about getting Kawhi and Paul George to take the regular season more seriously, playing in more games, and I think they've played in every game
And they played every
together
game,
this
yeah.
season, and still got a losing record. So it's kind of jaw dropping to see two talents like that kind of just playing this bad. I know, like you said, with James coming over, it's going to be an adjustment. You put Russ to the bench. It's going to take some time. Like I'm trying to hold off expectations to like late December, early January, because by then you should have had enough reps. But like
It's too long, man. And you're
it
looking at
would be,
a
but I mean, I think if they got it working by the time the playoffs came, it could be dangerous. But I just don't see it happening. Like the Sixers were kind of laughed at, because of the pieces that we got back, Markieff Morris, Batum, Covington, but
they playing
I,
well.
like you said, yeah, watching them, they play well. They know how to play. Batum's knocking down threes. Morris just had his best game as a Sixer at 16 the other night against the Lakers. So I think the Clippers are kind of missing those guys just a bit. They know how to play their role. They're unselfish. They move without the basketball. They play defense. I mean, like nobody's team has ever gotten better defensively when adding James Harden. That's just that's just the fact. And you put Russ to the bench, and I like the fit with Russ with PG and Kawhi because Russ, like, he pushed the pace. He's always going at 100 miles an hour, getting guys involved. But with James, it's just a much slower pace than when Russ is in there, and I just don't think that helps them as a team. He's not. Harden is still a solid player, but for a guy that's gonna hold the ball for 15 seconds of possession, and take tough step back threes.
Yeah.
It's not a style that's gonna help you win a championship. It's why I'm not upset. I wasn't upset that he wanted to get traded, because I didn't think we were gonna go anywhere, with him and it be playing that style of basketball. So, and it's not to say that he's just jacking up shots. It's just like he has to control the ball for 15 to 20 seconds of possession, instead of just, swinging it and moving and, kind of making the defense have to, guess and see where the ball is, move side to
Easier to
side.
guard when you're not moving.
It's much easier to guard when, James Harden is just going to stand at the top of the key and dribble it for 10 to 20 seconds. So, it's not that he's jacking up a lot of shots, but I just think the rhythm and the pace at which the Clippers play with are just so much different, than when they just had Russ, and, you had these other wings and, 3-and-D guys that just, they just played their role. We talk about role players all the time. It's what helped. Shaq calls them the others. It's what helps teams win championships. You got to have guys that can play their role, and play both ends. And they lost a lot of that in the trade for James Harden, and it's not looking good right now. But like I said, I'll give them till early January to kind of see where they're at, see if they can figure it out.
Yeah, they got to figure something out. It's kind of exhausting to see three guys that are so supremely talented that they just don't look good. But you hit on all the points. The team, they don't move the ball well, they don't share the ball well. It's really stand still. They don't get up and down. You got three guys that are, I mean, great scorers. You got Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. These are generational scorers. These are guys that have played a lot of really good basketball, won meaningful games. But if you just play 5 out or 4 out and put in Zubac, and then say, okay, James gonna dribble it for 10, kick to Kawhi gonna dribble it for 10. You don't have much time left on the shot clock. Like, you're gonna take a bad shot. Kawhi's taking more threes this year, and just this first like quarter of, not even a quarter, first quarter of the season. Let's go with that. Then I've probably seen him take in his career. Kawhi Leonard's not a 3-point shooter. He can shoot it, but I mean, if you're relegating him to standing on the wing or standing in the corner and watching James Harden dribble or watching Paul George dribble and then kick out, or I mean, just interchange any of those guys. They all do it. There's possession where Paul George walks it up, dribble, ISO. Either I'm gonna get a bucket or I'm gonna do a kick, and you gotta shoot a tray ball. Like, that's just not good for them. Imagine if all three of those guys are moving, sharing the ball. You got role players that want to score the ball, that want to play defense. Norman Powell is a great scorer, doesn't play no defense. Bones Holland got benched, another great scorer, doesn't play no defense. So I mean, they just got a lot of guys right now that need to kind of find a place. They need to change how the offense moves, how it flows. I liked having Russ in there because, like you say, he gets the ball up and down. He gets guys going. He himself is cutting. He himself is trying to get loose balls, get extra opportunities to score. And like, that's what you see. That's what pops. And that's why you look like, a lot of people give Russ a hard time, but you look at him, you like, Russ doing a lot. Like, Russ over here turning
He
the ball.
plays hard. And
Yeah, but
like,
he's playing hard because he's trying to win
he's a guy that's going to play hard every single night.
Exactly. It's a disservice to him also. He sacrificed to go to the bench for the greater good of the team just to see the starting unit still doing the same thing. Just for them to have to get bailed out to even have a chance to win games against the Spurs. They gotta get bailed out by Norman Powell. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not it. You got James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. Like, all three of those guys should be able to get upwards of 20 points. And if not, like, okay, easy. James, you 15 and 10, right? Like, that's just what you got to do. You got to rebound. You got to do this. Like, Paul George, got to rebound, got to get assists. Paul George and Kawhi's rebound and assist numbers are trash. Trash. That's because they're just there for the ride playing offense, man. So the Clippers are struggling. Ty Lue, man, he's my guy, but I said it when the trade happened, like, eventually it's going to fall back on coaching because somebody got to get these guys to work together. Somebody got to get these guys to move. And we might be seeing the demise of all three of those superstars, man. I mean, that could just be what it is. But on the other side, on the
Yeah, it's that might go down as like the most like
yeah,
pointless trade ever.
it was just bad.
Like just
Like
because James Harden said he wanted to go there,
right.
I think
It
him and
never made
PG had
sense. It never
discussions,
made
but
sense.
like
It never made sense.
I think their team was more built for a
And
postseason
they looked
run
just fine.
before.
They were like top three in every efficiency category, offensively and defensively. And you trade for this dude, and you look terrible. Like it's bad. It's hard to watch the Clippers, and it's funny because my roommate's a big Clippers fan or a Kawhi fan rather, and we in here watching just watching that crap every single night. So I can't watch it much, but we try. But on the other end now, the Phoenix Suns are kind of doing it the other way. You got three
7
stars.
in a row.
One of them hasn't played. D Book was injured for a little bit. Bill played a little bit in his absence. KD played every game until I think last week he missed his first one. But since Book been back, man, you said they won 7 in a row. They still don't have Bradley Beal. I had them as a contender, at full strength. I think when Bill played, he looked good. I mean, I liked it. So the question is, even without Bill, if they don't have Bill, do you think with Kevin Durant and D Book that this Suns team can still contend for a championship?
I do. I think
I think so too.
uh look, KD and Book, like I mean that's enough, to contend. And obviously when they got the trade for Bradley Beal, it was just like, all right, now you bring in another guy that can get you 25 to 30 any given night if
And the
he can get
difference is
healthy.
those guys are when they're playing hard. Like they're playing to win. I'll never say like an NBA player doesn't want to win. Like I'm not gonna say they just want to lose, but you see KD and Book, KD and Book are gonna do anything. They
Yeah,
gotta
I
do
mean,
it. Like it's
KD's just
crazy. KD will go get
KD's just
triple
playing
double.
crazy this year.
Book will go get a triple double. If I got a rebound, if I got to like, that's what I love when I watch the Suns. Is KD is willing to sit down and play defense. KD is willing to slide to the 5 and play small ball 5 and bang with the other team's big, rebound, come down the other court and still give you 35. Like that stuff is great to watch, man. I'm right with you. I'm gonna let you go. I could talk about the Suns a lot, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we both can. I think if they can get Bill back, like I mean, to me, I think they might be the favorites. I think
That's a perfect
you know
tie.
if Denver can get healthy, obviously they're up there. The Suns defensively against the Nuggets, but it was that matchup would scare me a little bit. But I think if they have Beal, they can score enough to stay in that series. But either way, I think even if you just have KD and Booker, I think they're both so electric offensively, and I think Book is like he's taken another step because his playmaking this year it's just been insane. Obviously, he's been more of a point guard role since they thought Beal would come in and be playing the two. But he's taken over at point guard responsibility, and I mean he's succeeding at every level, and don't think that's going to take away from him still putting up points in bunches. He'll get 30 and 10 real quick. And I mean we saw the big shot he made, in the Garden against your Knicks. My bad. But I mean, like, I sort of stars show up at, man, and Book is one of the brightest stars in the league right now. And KD, easy money sniper. I mean, he looks like he looks like he's still in his prime. Like you just not stopping him from getting 30.
And I think what makes them so good together is like they will defer to one another. Like we talk about the Clippers, like if Kawhi hit 3 straight, you still seeing PG or Harden dribbling the clock out. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm like, if it's a Book night, it's a Book night. KD would be like, hey, Book, you need me, I'll be right here. And vice versa. Like if KD didn't hit 3 straight, the ball, D Book will get the rebound or get it on the inbound, bring it up, give it to KD, and move around. Like they play off each other, they feed off each other. Like it's so many things you can do with that lineup. I mean, Grayson Allen looks pretty good. Nurkic looks
It's
pretty
been a nice
good.
addition.
Like Kogi looks pretty good. Like they have those are the 3 guys right there. Those are the others, that you're gonna need when it gets to playoff time. Those are the others that you're going to need. And if they can get Bill back, I mean, it's going to be scary hours because all three of those guys not only score the ball well, but all three of those guys actually are unselfish and make the right play. They're not afraid for the moment, but they also are more than willing to defer to one of the other two if need be. And I think, I mean, I like them to come out of the West anyway. I agree with you. I think the only team that can really scare them is the Nuggets at full strength, and that's just because you can't guard your Jokic. You just can't. Nurkic would have to play a lot. You know, I can see Katie getting in a lot of foul trouble trying to, help out. And then Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., like the others for the Nuggets are insane. And I don't really count Jamal Murray as the others. Jamal Murray, he proved his case to me last season. So, he get back healthy. And I think the Nuggets are just so well coached. They've done it, that system, they're really deep. I think that's really the only team out west that can even get the Suns a shot. And, we talking about the Timberwolves and all of that, but Rudy Gobert, you're not guarding KD. Like you're not, that ain't moving the needle. You know what I'm saying? So hey, I'm gonna go watch them tonight. Do they play tonight? I think they play tonight.
I don't know what the schedule is tonight. I haven't looked. I've
Well,
been
we big on the Suns, man. But the last thing we want to talk about is this in-season tournament. We said it, we prefaced it earlier. It's getting down to that nitty-gritty. This week we have a lot of games with a lot of implications that will qualify teams. Nell Sixers they need a lot of help, to get in. My Knicks need a
it's
little bit of
over.
help to get in. So what do you how do you feel overall about the in-season tournament so far? How do you feel about the teams that's trying to qualify? Do you agree with the wild card spot? Does it make sense? Where we at on the in-season tournament as we kind of move in closer to December, was the 9th? Where it all gets all the chips on the
What, the
table?
championship?
Yeah, is it the 9th?
I believe
Or no,
7th.
the 7th. Okay. Next week, either
Or it
way.
might be the 9th. I don't know.
Next week we got will be the championship. So what are our thoughts on the in-season tournament? Any of these games this week that you're looking at? How you
Yeah, I like it. I mean, as far as the qualifying games, for the first time, I'm a fan of it. Obviously, I'm real sick that my Sixers couldn't get into it. Like I can't even really make fun of it just because my team ain't get in. But
crazy.
yeah,
Last week we were talking about y'all getting in.
yeah, I thought we was a shoe in to win the championship, but I mean, we don't deserve to be in there after losing to the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell. So
I would
it
agree.
is what it is. We earned that. But the games have been surprisingly good. I've been, elated with the amount of quality, games that come down to the wire, no matter what the matchup is. Because it's not like, it's based off a record. So it's not like you're getting a lot of, top teams going up against one another in all of these groups. But it's been some really fun games. I think about the Knicks and Bucks game. Knicks and Heat had a pretty good game the other day. Sixers and
We've had some pretty
Pacers.
good,
Like
all of our joints have been pretty good.
uh, the Suns in Utah, Suns and Lakers. Like it's been a lot of good games in these tournament and these qualifying matchups. So I'm looking forward to the tournament and the championship and the next couple of years.
I mean, and the best thing about it is for the most part, we've really seen teams buy in. A lot of teams are getting behind the idea of winning this thing and getting that 500K. I mean, it don't sound like a lot of money to those guys, but it is. A lot of guys you get to walk in and walk out with a check, just winning a game. Like, they care a lot about it. The NBA is going to only improve it. I already know just how they roll. The jerseys are cool. The court's working on getting rid of the red courts, preferably. I don't know how I feel about
Yeah,
just
the red is
I
crazy.
think
Yeah,
the all red court was pretty trifling.
right.
I think wasn't it like a purple one too? I think the Kings had a purple one. The courts are a little they can work on the court, but I mean, great start, man. I'm excited, and it's about to be over. I look forward to Tuesdays and Fridays. And what's today? Tuesday. So we got some games coming up. So, we'll see. This whole thing's gonna unfold. We'll be looking at next week's episode. We'll be looking at, pretty much the finals by that time. So uh, we're gonna keep monitoring that one now. I think the NBA might have a hit. They might have done something with that. And then like we said, they only gonna expand on it. It's just year one. And more teams will buy in, they'll add more incentives, I'm sure, as they go on. But I'm glad to see the majority of the league is buying into it. Now as you can kind of see like teams that aren't in it, that's something I'm interested to see, like teams that aren't gonna make it. Like I think the Knicks played the Hornets and LaMelo's out. I think the Heat in a game where they could get in against the Bucks. I think Jimmy Butler's out. Like little stuff like that is what it is. But all in all, things look pretty good. So a big shout out to the NBA. For getting that thing going, giving us something different. Just something different for us to see, keep us intrigued, keep basketball exciting, year round now.
Yeah, man, no knock from me. It's been some good basketball, so I'm looking forward to the future of the in season tournament.
Yeah.
Definitely got to get me one of them trophies.
Hey, my Knicks gonna get one. We might get one this year. We do what we gotta do. But that's gonna wrap it up for us, man. We got our pick 'em to close out the episode. As always, I got sad news for my followers that been following me on here. We lost again.
Wrap it up.
We have gone against the Packers twice and back-to-back weeks and lost. Chargers lost, Detroit lost. Ruined my Thanksgiving. Nell has another win. I think you're now what? 9-3 after he picked the Chiefs over the Raiders. Gimme.
That
Now,
guy.
I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna give you a rundown. No Commanders, no Colts, Ravens, Cowboys, Lions, Raiders, Dolphins, Eagles, Titans, Bills, or Chiefs. If you remember all of those, I'd be surprised. But go
It's cool.
ahead.
I already got my team for
Oh
the
yeah.
week. I was tussling between two squads, but I'm gonna take that black and yellow this week. I'm gonna rock with the Steelers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead.
The Steelers.
Yep.
Really?
Hey man, first 400-yard game in 58 games.
All right. Don't sleep on Kyler now.
I'm rocking with the
I
Steelers,
need
man.
that sucks, man, because I wanted, I really wanted them to like, win. Dang. I don't even know who to pick, bro. All the good teams I picked lost. I'm back to sorry teams, man. Have I ever picked the
Dang.
Jaguars? Yep, that was my first team of the season. Sheesh.
that was another team I was debating. I know they're not on my list yet, but we'll see. You
Dang,
know how
bro.
Trevor get.
I'm not, it ain't looking too good for me, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's already over for you.
Bro, I gotta pick somebody that I just don't agree with. See, there's strategy in this pick 'em. I gotta next year when we run it back, I'm gonna have to think a little smarter because I done ran out of teams, brother. Ooh,
Hey, man. It's a
hey,
science to this.
I'm gonna go ahead and double down, man. I said it when in the preview. They one of the teams I haven't taken. They're one of the teams that I haven't taken that I think I would be okay with saying has a shot. I'm not saying the Falcons gonna win because I don't want them to win. No, I'll go with the Falcons, actually. I was gonna go with the Eagles. I really was.
Oh, that's what I thought you was about to do.
That's where I was leaning. But I just looked again, man, and I don't have the Falcons on my list. And even though I don't want them to win for my
That is
Buccaneers,
gonna be hilarious if the Jets pull that off.
bro. Oh, reverse psychology by me. Let's go with that. We're gonna go with the Falcons, man.
Okay. You trying to win a
Falcons over
division?
the
I
Jets.
see the vision.
You see me. I need my Bucks play the Panthers. We handle them easy. We
Oh, should I
pick the
pick the
Falcons.
Panthers?
Don't do this, bro.
That
You already,
might be a
you already,
that
you
might be
already
the
picked.
guarantee of the
You already
week.
picked. You already picked. You already picked.
All right,
So
give
I'm
me
going
my
with the Falcons over the Jets. Nell is going with the Steelers over. What did I just say?
Cardinals.
That's right. Tripping on Kyler. Steelers over the Cardinals, man. We're gonna try to make a late season push. I gotta do some more research because I'm running out of teams and I'm about to be picking like the Bears and the Cardinals and stuff to win games down the stretch, and that's just unwise.
Good luck.
I'm surprised that you haven't run out of teams yet. Dang,
I
you
got
got
a
a
lot of teams
good
left.
little yeah, you got good. You ain't picked my Bucks yet. Come on, man.
Probably won't.
You're gonna have to.
Not really.
You're right. You could get away. That's all right. That's all right. We're gonna make a late push, man. Keith's gonna come back 7-5 versus 9-3. Um, never say never. Come back, kid. It's the dog in me. Shout out to them Ravens again, man. Shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, had a wonderful holiday. Nell, you got anything to lead the people with on this fine afternoon?
Nah, man. Let's just get ready for them 49ers and Eagles.
Yeah,
So
man.
I'm
It's
ready
gonna be a
for.
great game of the week, man. Everybody
Go Cowboys
chime in and let us know who you rocking
and
with
go
this.
Sixers.
All right, again. Big win over the Lakers. Shout out to them. But as always, follow us on social media, 2for2 Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Follow the YouTube or subscribe to the YouTube page. Leave a like, leave a comment on the Instagram. Interact with us. Let us know who you got winning the Eagles and the Niners this week. And as always, man, 2for2, we out.